I'm Snoop Dogg, and I'm giving up smoke. I know what you're thinking. Snoop, smoke is kind of your whole thing. But I'm done with it. I'm done with the coughing and my clothes smelling all funky. I'm going smokeless. Solo stove, fixed fire. They took out the smoke. Now you can have a nice blaze without any clouds ruining your day. Go smokeless. Go to solostove.com. Tell them Big Snoop Dogg sent you.
Don DiPetta joins us, actor. He's got a new movie out. Hello, Don. How are you? How are you today?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
You're on with Bob and Jeff. We're definitely happy to have you. So tell us about the ambitious nature of your new movie. You produced it. You wrote it. It's now available on demand. Tell us about it.
Sure. The movie is called A Place in the Field, and it's a veteran film. It's a road trip movie about a veteran who makes a promise to his friend while they're overseas about taking a road trip. Unfortunately, it works out that one of the soldiers can't take the trip, but as a last wish, he gets sent his ashes and a letter saying, "Hey, take me on this road trip we always talked about doing." And they take a journey across the American Southwest all the way to Central California, where he lays his buddy to rest. But it's not a typical veteran film. I like to say that it's a story of hope and healing, and there's some laughs along the way.
Can you talk about the process just of writing a movie? I imagine that you have an idea, but it takes you in a lot of different places and maybe almost kind of writes itself in some ways. What was that process like for you?
Sure. Well, it was a collaborative experience. I wrote it with a couple friends of mine, and we organically kind of came up with the story. We love road trip films. I know I do. Easy Rider was a big influence for this film. And we one of our writers is currently active military, and I grew up with a handful of guys that are still currently serving too. So we thought veterans and a road trip story, and tackling the issues of, I think, PTSD, but also healing. This was a great vehicle for that. But it happened organically. The pandemic hit. We started writing in March 2020, and it all happened very fast. We were filming July 2020. It was an independent film, obviously, so it was a group of about 16 just really creative, passionate people. We drove out to New Mexico, lived together on a ranch, and basically did this film very independent, very old school. But we would shoot based on locations. We would find new things on the day. We were collaborating, improv, and rewriting. It was a really cool experience.
Don DiPetta with us. His new movie, A Place in the Field, available now. So where was the inspiration for this, Don? Where did the idea first occur to you? Was it a fully formed idea, or how much time did you spend developing it?
Well, my friends and I would drive around Central California, and we found this little town called Exeter, California, at the foothills of the Sequoias, and it was a real slice of Americana, but they have a heavy veterans presence there. And it kind of got sparked out of spending time in that town. And like I said, there are people around us in our lives that are actively serving and are veterans, and so we wanted to shed a little light on their experience, but we wanted to tell a truthful, authentic story. And I think that's the difference between a lot of Hollywood films and the way that veterans are portrayed, especially when they come home, and what we tried to do. And so we're really happy with how it turned out.
So yeah, you just mentioned quite a few veterans. So what are those conversations like when it comes to finding a purpose after they come home? What do veterans tell you about that? How difficult that is, and how important is this message, like you said, of healing and hope, and like you said, just kind of getting better, getting through things.
Right. Well, I think they're portrayed as being damaged when they come home for whatever reason. I think that's what we like to pull on, and I haven't had that experience at all. They're incredible people who are intelligent. They're great leaders. They're great in team skills, and I've read somewhere that there's a lot of veterans that are running some of the top companies all over the country. I think there's a majority of them that actually are. I don't have the correct number, so I'm not going to throw out figures, but that's what I guess we wanted to kind of highlight, is that yeah, the everybody when they come back home, it's not this experience of doom and gloom. They're just normal everyday people, and if they are going through things, a lot of times it's in quiet. But we have conversations about, okay, well, what does it look like? What's the reality of it, and how do we portray that authentically, and not do the stereotypical kind of tropes that a lot of people fall into.
Actor Don DiPetta, our guest. So you have also a background in comedy. You've done a lot of TV work and movie work. What's the best way to describe you?
A journeyman actor, a blue collar guy. And I think people get this perception of actors in Hollywood that we're airy, or we complain, or we're flaky, or whatever this is. And no, I mean, to be an actor, I feel like to be one of the really good ones, we're studied and learned, and there's a lot of craft involved in what we do. And yeah, I would just like to say I'm a guy that works for his job, shows up, does his job, and then goes home and is a normal everyday guy.
But it looks to me, and you can correct me, but it looks to me, looking at your body of work, that it's starting to take off for you in a way that maybe it hadn't before. Is that an accurate statement?
That is an accurate statement. This has been 11 years in the making now, and I feel like we're just at the beginning. Again, this is my first leading role in a film. I was incredibly grateful to Lionsgate. It's a major studio, and when they saw this film, again, it was done completely outside of Hollywood and the studio system. So the fact that they saw the film, liked it, and decided to take it under their wing and distribute it is it's a rarity, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity. And yeah, I think we're just at the beginning of everything.
So I read an article about the film A Place in the Field, which we're talking about. Mentioned your director, Nikki Mejia, and how, maybe a woman could offer different perspectives on PTSD, since that's not necessarily, we think of men in the military and macho-ness and everything like that. Is that how it worked out? Did she bring a different perspective on those issues, and what did she bring to the film overall?
Nicole is an incredible director, and there are women throughout this film. They're all over it, from the cinematographers to the producers to the production designers. We thought it was really important that if we were going to tell a male-dominated story, that we had the other side of the coin in a different perspective. And I think that's forgot sometimes. A lot of our military service members, predominantly men, go over and serve, but they leave wives, they leave families, and so they're also going through the struggles, and they're going through the hardship, because they're, a lot of times they're left behind to take care of the home. So having a female voice, especially to deal with such a male-heavy, dominated subject, everybody's got pain, everybody's got trauma, and I think that Nicole and the rest of the women portrayed it in a beautiful way.
Talking with Don DiPetta, his new movie is out, A Place in the Field. I'm curious, on a human level, when you poured so much into a project like this, what's your feeling when it's released, and now that people are seeing it with their own eyes, they're reacting to it, they're developing opinions about the movie? How are you able to kind of sort that out as someone who's got such an investment in your movie?
Interesting question. It feels a bit surreal still. I think when we made it, we never expected to get it to Lionsgate. We never expected that it would be streaming everywhere. And so the fact that people get to see it, especially with the subject matter that it's around, I'm just really happy about that. I hope I did it justice. I hope people find some attachment to it. Even though it's a veteran story, we feel like it's a human story about hope and healing and just the journey when people are struggling. So it's a bit nerve-wracking, especially that I know that a lot of veterans are going to see it. But I did as much homework as I could, and I tried to portray it as accurately as I possibly could. So I hope people enjoy it. I hope it resonates with them. And now it's out in the world, but still hasn't sunk in yet. The more that I talk to people like you guys and do these interviews, and people say, "Wow, congratulations on stuff," it starts to sink in. But it's a bit surreal still.
Obviously, you brought attention to this subject, which is much needed. I think it'll probably always be much needed. What do you think the best way is for regular folks to kind of contribute to the cause of veteran healing and things like that?
I think again, I think it's just being aware that the number's still around 22 veterans a day, and that number's entirely too high. I think that we still have a problem with homeless veterans in the United States. I think our VA and the hospital and the care that they get is a big struggle. But that's us harping on our representatives to make a change. But I think it starts with just knowing that a veteran is a normal human being, and sometimes all people need is a conversation or a helping hand or a smile. So it really just starts. It's super simple.
Don DiPetta, our guest, you've been in, as I said earlier, numerous television shows, several movies now. Was there someone in your past where you were on a TV show or in a movie and you just kind of sat back and watched this person and you said, so that's how it's done? Is there someone who kind of served that purpose for you?
For sure. I would say it was on the set of Green Book, and it was Viggo Mortensen and Mahershala Ali. I showed up to set.
Those are two pretty good ones.
Yeah, pretty good. I showed up to set a day early, and Peter Farrelly, who was the director of the film, and Charles Wessler was the producer. They were kind enough to let me sit behind the camera and watch these two guys sit down and share a bottle of, they shared a bottle of liquor and fake liquor in the film, but have a conversation, sit down and do their scene. And they worked it for a couple hours, and it was a masterclass on acting, what those guys were able to do. And when I saw them do it, I was like, oh, wow. I don't know if I can do this, but yeah, they were great.
So you played baseball at Siena. You were, I assume you still are, the all-time home run leader at your high school in Georgia. So what was your relationship with baseball? Did you have big dreams as a kid, and are you still a baseball fan?
Still a baseball fan, big Braves fan. We've had a couple good years. I don't like the new playoff system. I'll come out and say that right now. I think we need to change that because it doesn't help us. Because we just keep winning the division. And so I played a little bit of minor league ball, and I played up in St. Paul for Bill Murray's team, the St. Paul Saints, and I chased the dream for a while and I felt like I did what I could, and I'm happy in the time that I had in it.
Well, we very much appreciate you coming on the show today. Very down to earth, very, you're appreciative of the opportunities you've been given, and we all like to see people like you make it. And you got a new movie out, and it's streaming.
Yeah.
And it's called A Place in the Field. Thanks, Don.
Thank you guys so much for the time.